Alright, I wasn't initially going to videotape anything dealing with the fixing of this clock case, but I thought, well, what the heck, because I got to try a whole bunch of different stuff. Remember, this was all cracked up on the top. I'm going to first try to repair it with filler, and then manually imitate the grain in it, see if I can restore this without destroying the original stuff. We'll remove only what we cannot repair effectively. The base was very loose and coming apart. I've got cleaned off a lot of the old finish, re-gluing. This has been setting overnight. Now I've got to re-glue this piece like so, and then this piece, and then I've got the whole front, which is a different story. The front was a miserable mess. This is what we've got so far. This is broken. I've got to reconstruct this. I think I'm probably going to end up having to replace the most of this veneer on the front. But we'll tear this apart, re-glue the base part of it, leave the trim off until we see how everything goes together and what needs to be replaced, and then we'll make decisions from there. So I'm going to work on re-gluing that base, then I'm going to work on this, and then we'll see where we go from there. One of the things I like to use for some repairs when you get cracks and things to fill is this stuff called quick wood. It's really an epoxy putty. Comes like this. It's 2 parts, center core, whatever. Anyway, you cut off what you need, and then you knead it until it's the same color, and then you can use it to fill all kinds of spots. It was a piece here. This whole corner was broken off, so I've glued it, but there were some pieces missing and cracks in here, so I just filled this with that quick wood, and after that hardens, it only takes about an hour for it to really harden. They can all be sanded and then covered. So any places where I'm finding cracks, there's a real bad crack here on the top, I filled it, kind of puts it together. That's where that crack occurred across the top here. I have pressed some of that into here, sanding it off. I don't know if that's going to work or not. I'm going to have to replace this, but it makes a good filler. It's very hard. It's sandable, machinable, drillable, and I use it for repairing lots of case stuff. I'll work on this front, try to remove this veneer from these pieces here. I'll use a heat gun to do that, and I don't know what happened to this piece here. We'll remove that stuff, clean this all up, do some re-gluing. I may have to do some joinery here to join those together, but we'll see what we need to do at that point. Okay, got that piece off. Let's see if we can get this off. This is veneer. It's attached to the back, so I'm going to heat this. This heat gun. See if I can get that piece off. Almost. Okay. Let's heat the blade up. Yeah, that blade's hot. There we go. Okay, so that piece of veneer is free, and this little piece of wood is free. And now we will continue with these pieces and see if we can't get everything. See what we need to re-veneer and what we need to. What I'm anxious to do is get all of this off of here so that I can re-glue the base pieces, and then we'll talk about re-veneering. Okay, so far we got these now separated, these two, and what we'll do here after I want to remove this whole piece so that I can start from scratch, get everything all lined up right. So we'll heat this up and use a putty knife then to work it off. Metal knife is conducting heat right down. Fine here. Okay. Coming off slow but sure. Do some more. One spot is really tight. There we go. Okay. Got this front piece cleaned up. Now the next thing to do is join these two together. I think we'll do that. We'll put a dowel in this, glue them, and start from there. Got a brass pin in there, and we will now put these together this way with glue, and then we will drive that in, and it will be ready for the show. Okay, put some glue in there, clamp it, and we'll be ready to go. We've got this temporarily put together. We've got to work on putting a band around there. These two should be attached. Still some things to do here, but we're getting there. Looking better. Got it cleaned up anyway. Okay, I'll get this put back together now and stabilized. I drilled holes here, here, countersunk, and put screws in to hold these. And then glued it, the top or the front to the rest of the case. That'll keep it from separating and making a big gap that was up there. Now I've got to do two things. I gotta cover this face with with veneer, and then do a veneer strip over here, and then we'll mess with seeing about staining it. So next step is to clean this up, put veneer on this front. Alright, I'm outside on the deck because I've got some strips of veneer cut, and I'm going to attach it with contact cement, and that's not good to use that inside, so we're going to work on this out here on the deck. Okay, I've got a coat of contact cement on this, coat of contact cement on the pieces. We'll let them dry here for 15-20 minutes, and then we will attach them. Okay, now we got to attach that trim. It's going to go in, and we got to do some filling, and then we'll start messing with some, do a final sanding, and then start messing with some stain. Okay, we have this on. Just sand this, gotta fill these cracks, and then we'll be ready to sand down and start looking at stain. Several hours later, this is still very wet. I'm trying to match up stuff on the top to cover. That's about as good as I can get it. And on the front, about as good as it'll go, I guess. Let that completely dry, and then we'll see about putting a couple of coats of shellac on it, and then see if that's good enough. And when it comes to this little thing, it's got a coat of shellac on it. No more broken pieces. I think that's going to be the end of it. Now we got to put the movement in it, and put the dial back on, and this one should be done. And that's the finished clock, ready to go back.